Hey, everybody. Hey! My name is Errol Shanefish, and I'm the only Errol Shanefish in the world. That's true. I know. You do a Bing search. Did you catch that? A Bing search. We're at a Microsoft conference here. If you do a Bing search, I'm the only one that shows up. Pretty much, I think pretty much. Last time I checked. Because, we all do that every day, right? Search on yourself. No, I'm just kidding. All right, I am here to introduce you to Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. And I have like 78 slides in 20 minutes. No, I'm kidding. I actually have 2 slides. I've got 2 slides. First of all, I'm just going to set it up. What is Business Central? Dynamics 365 Business Central is an all-in-one business management solution for growing small and medium-sized businesses that encompasses basically everything that they would need to run their business. Sort of the value proposition on top of that for Dynamics 365 Business Central is not only sort of doing all of what you may have traditionally called ERP, but also the capabilities to really deliver a modern solution that is, I hate to say the word integrated, because integrated is such a bad word, that's unified with other Microsoft applications. It's an intelligent solution that not only sort of lets you see things in the past, but also allows you to think more closely about what's going to happen in the future. And it's an adaptable solution that although it is a 100% cloud-based, multi-tenant, all those yada, yada, yada things, you can still make the solution look, feel, be verticalized the way that you need it. So it's all of those things and takes advantage of the Power Platform applications of Microsoft Flow, Power Apps, Power BI, etc. Okay, so that's sort of an introduction. So let's actually see what this bad boy looks like. How many of you started your day in Outlook this morning? Or mail or whatever? Yep, a lot of you. I did too. So let's imagine you're a business owner. You've grown your organization from 5 to 200 employees, but you're still very involved in the day-to-day aspect of your business, right? You interact with customers, you interact with vendors, you obviously interact with the employees at your organization. So let's assume that that's the case. And so at 6 a.m., like we all start our days, right? What do? You pull up Outlook, I'm at home, maybe I went down to my home office, and I pull up Outlook, I see what's happening. And so one of the first things I noticed, I have some things in my inbox. There's an automated flow at the top. Here's a request from a customer for a quote. I've got, here's an email from a vendor of mine, or this is a customer of mine. Here's an email from a vendor of mine. I've got an email from a new contact at an existing customer and an email from an employee of mine that's asking for something. Let's start with this quote. So here's a request for a quote. And what would you normally do with this? An email, a request for a quote. You go somewhere else, you log into some other solution, you maybe authenticate, all of that jazz. What if we surfaced everything that you needed to know directly from within Outlook? That's context sensitive, it understands that this is a customer of mine, and as a result, I can see everything about this customer that I would normally get from an accounting, financial, whatever solution. I can see all of the ongoing sales quotes, I can see posted transaction, all of the historical information about what's happened with this customer. So that's great information, but I can also act on that. Easily create a sales quote directly from in the context of this email, and not only that, it's an intelligent solution that has said, hey, there's like 2 items that I recognized from this email. Do you want to add those to this quote? So it actually understood that, and as a result, I've done like 3 clicks, maybe, and I'm able to send this quote onto the customer with 3 easy clicks because of the context-sensitive awareness intelligence solution, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. So that's sort of one scenario. Another scenario is, I'll call it ad hoc query, ad hoc workflow. How many of you have really, really strict workflows that you always follow within your business? No. This is what I call an ad hoc workflow. It is somebody internally said, hey, Mr. Boss, could you please put a discount on this order for me? Could you approve that? And it was just simply an email that was sent. Again, what would you normally do? You have to go somewhere else, log in, authenticate. Maybe you had it up, maybe you didn't. But instead, Business Central understood the quote number and then surfaced it inside of Outlook so that now I can act on that request for a quote. As you can see, it's already in here because I demonstrate this all the time. So I'm actually going to change that to 0 so that next time when I demo this, it doesn't actually have the discount already in there. And now I can send that off to the employee, just reply to him and take care of that. Or perhaps in this situation, this is a new contact at an existing customer. Business Central understands that this contact is not in my solution, and so it's actually saying, hey, do you want to add this as a contact, a totally new customer, or do you want to add it to an existing customer already? And so I can do that. So there's many things that you can do here on the payable side also, including the ability to bring in documents via optical character recognition. And so in this situation, again, this is on the vendor side. And so as a result of it understanding that this is a vendor, what I can do is actually bring in this PDF file into my optical character recognition system, and then it gets verified through the process there. Again, all done through Outlook. So we all know that it's a mobile world. So let's just pretend for a moment, again, I'm that same owner, and I was driving somewhere on my way to my next call, and I got a call from that customer that I sent a quote for, and they said, hey, we're golfing on Thursday. There wasn't any discount on that quote that you sent me. And so before my next meeting, what do? I pull up my phone. I have full access to everything that's inside Business Central on a mobile device. This is not just sort of little bits and pieces of information. This is everything. So in this situation, I can pull up my sales quotes area really fast because I'm on the, have you noticed how fast the Wi-Fi is here? Oh my gosh. So here's all my outstanding quotes. Let's go to that last one that we just created. And I can edit this now and put in the agreed upon discount and save that and send it on. But as I mentioned, Business Central is really sort of everything that's in your financial solution. So I have access to all the same reports, capabilities, all my accounts. I even have access to the embedded Power BI charts and graphs that you have in Business Central. I have access to that on my mobile device also. Basically everything that's available here. But it occurred to me as I was thinking about this, some of the things that I've been selling. So the London swivel chair was one of the items that was on that quote that we sent. And it occurred to me that I want to just drill down on this London swivel chair because that's part of my demo. That's why it occurred to me. So what I'm doing now is actually I'm taking a look at my inventory forecast. And you can see there, basically it says, hey, if you don't do anything, you're going to go negative quantities. Now that's sort of interesting. You might say, well, how does it even know that? This is using Azure Intelligence to look at what's historically happened, what you have on order, what you have quotes of going forward, and it's actually formulating the forecast on your behalf so that you don't have to do that. Again, intelligent solution. So that's sort of interesting, but that's maybe something that somebody else does. So what I'm going to do is actually share this off to someone else so that they can take care of that later on in the day. Okay, so we've done Outlook interface, we've done mobile, and I'm sure you're all saying, what does the actual application look like? So if those are two different ways that you have access to Business Central, here's a third way, which is obviously via the cloud browser-based solution. And this is the home page of Business Central. I had one customer who come up after one of my presentations once and they said, what I loved about it is like that user interface was almost huggable. Huggable. But it is. It's a beautiful user interface. We give you kind of key insights at the very top, all of the things that you would normally do on a day-to-day basis. So let's take a look at some of the actions that I have pending for me. Oh, by the way, I'm just going to say embedded Power BI, and I'll kind of show that in a couple of different places, but let's take a look at two of the items that I have pending. One of these items we just talked about, which is inventory forecast. So let's go to that. And what I'm going to show you again with that London swivel chair is what I might do with the information that I have, and that was that inventory forecast going negative. What we can do is create a purchase order directly from that information. And what it's doing here is it's telling me I think you should order this quantity, but it's also saying, hey, you've got shortages with other inventory items from this same vendor. And so I can, with one click, add that to this purchase order. Again, it's being intelligent, it's being proactive back to me so that I can add that additional information. Now I sort of said that, I actually said Business Central is an adaptable solution. I want to show you just a few things as it relates to how adaptable it is. First of all, I mentioned embedded Power BI, and although you can see that on my inventory items, I'm going to go to my customer cards because that's where I think it looks a little nicer. So what this is doing on my list pages, and this you can do this on most list pages, including customers, items, etc. It's actually surfacing a Power BI chart right next to my customers here in such a way that as I kind of scroll from customer to customer, you can see the Power BI chart changing on the right-hand side. Now this is embedded in multiple areas. I mentioned customers, vendors, items, and also on the home page that we saw. So let's get back to my home page. And here I have some embedded Power BI charts on my home page. Again, these are ones that we provide out of the box, and you can modify them. And at the same time, I can modify the look and feel of my solution by simply going to my personalize area. It's drag and drop modification. So for the Power BI charts, for instance, perhaps I want them closer up top here on my home page. So I can do that. I'm going to modify the look and feel of my list page that we were on before. So in this case, there's some fields on the list page that I want to get rid of. Let's do that. Let's actually add credit limit up here on my list page. You kind of get the idea of, again, this is modifying the look and feel, but at the same time, it's not changing any of the underlying code of the solution. I'm gonna, on my form, I'm gonna hide some things. So very easy to adapt and personalize the solution. Another way that you can adapt and personalize the solution is through what we call extensions, which is basically third-party apps that are integrated on top of Business Central. And so here's a set that I have currently added to this particular tenant, but you can also go out and add those extensions by looking at the marketplace. And this is Microsoft App Source. So all of our third-party products that add on to Business Central are deploying those solutions into App Source, and you have access to all of those third-party apps also as an extension on top of Business Central. So you can also do that with the solution. So again, it's modern, it's unified, it's intelligent, and it's adaptable. I'm going to show one final thing. So there's multiple places that we use Azure services. So I showed you the one with inventory forecast. We also have Azure services for cognitive recognition in inventory and in the customer area. I just love doing this demo. So here's me. Let's go get a picture of Errol. And what it's going to bring back as a result of that, if you see it here, it's going to say, hey, Errol looks like he's male and 38. Yes! I'm not anywhere near 38. I'm 54 years old, but for some reason the solution thinks I'm 38. All right, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. It's a modern, unified, comprehensive business application solution. And I believe I am 2 minutes. If anybody does have any questions, you can either...
I got one.
Yep.
That customized view you were doing at the user level, can you like save it for groups of users or roles?
Yeah, so the question was, the customized view at a user level, you can save it at, I think it's either single or the entire application, if I remember correctly. Yep.
Is there a middle one that has roles?
So there are role-based, there's a different way to do what you're asking. So the entire solution is role-based, and so what you do is create that role, what they have access to, and then you say they're a member of that role, and then that's what they see. Yep. And the personalization was actually kind of on top of that. Yep. Yep.
And that's portal infrastructure.
Sorry?
Portals.
Portals.
Customer-facing.
Yeah. Oh, customer-facing portals? There's some third-party apps that do that better than we would out of the box. Because usually there's something specific that you're looking for there. And so, I mean, yeah, right. And we have out of the box embedded with Dynamics 365 for sales also. So yeah, actually you do that there, and then it would follow through into Business Central. Yep. Yep.
Does this augment Dynamics 365? Is that what it is? Business Central?
Is it?
Business Central, does it augment Dynamics 365?
Yeah, so if you look at the entire portfolio, the question was, does this augment Dynamics 365? If you look at the entire portfolio of Dynamics 365 products, there's Dynamics 365 for sales, Dynamics 365 for marketing, Dynamics 365 for talent, Dynamics 365 for customer service, Dynamics 365 for et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And finance and operations is another one. So Business Central, again, is designed for small, medium-sized businesses. So if you need enterprise-level, multi-country, multi-warehouse, multi, that's finance and operations that, sort of does what we would call ERP aspect of that. But this is, again, it's integrated to Dynamics 365 for sales. So if you have that already, but you need a financial management solution and you're not that complex, then Business Central is a great solution for that. All right, I'm overtime now. So thank you for coming.